person. Where will LeBron go? Probably near the top of that list. I think about it all the time. Technically signed through 2019, LeBron can opt out this summer if the playoffs don't go his way, or for any reason, really. Since returning to the Cavs in 2013, LeBron has signed short-term deals which allow him the flexibility to jump ship. Here is ex-Cavs GM David Griffin on how this formula breaks down.
When LeBron's on a one-year contract every year, you don't get to be long-term sustainable. You don't get to do Danny Ainge. You don't get to play that game. Those aren't the cards you're being dealt. You have to win right now and put him in a position, a frame of mind where he believes he's going to win in the future. And everything that happens because he's on one-year deals at the absolute maximum amount of money is an unsustainable formula. So to some degree, he puts himself in that situation as well. And I think he appreciates that because it's what gives him the ability to make Cleveland do what they did. He doesn't care if Cleveland has nothing left if he walks. He cares if Cleveland believes in him enough to invest in him.
A lot of interesting points there, and I will ask you this. Does LeBron deserve blame for what's happening to him, or is he doing what he wants to do? Play basketball, make the money I deserve to play it, and I've earned, and then make my decision based on what I signed?
I have tremendous respect for David Griffin. I don't know David Griffin personally, but we've developed something of like an internet camaraderie, if you will. I think he did a great job in Cleveland. I think he's going to do a great job with his next GM job, and I think he's done a great job on television, podcast, the whole thing. I think he's a little mistaken here. LeBron has not always signed one-year deals. And when LeBron makes his decision this offseason, I would bet a lot of money he does not sign one-year deals. The reason he has signed one-year deals in Cleveland this time around is because he does not trust that owner. And he should not trust that owner. The proof is David Griffin not being there. What do I mean? LeBron signed a one-year deal his first year back in Cleveland and then put pressure on the organization to do what they needed to do. They won a championship. He, after the championship, signs a two-year deal. And what does the owner do the first summer that LeBron does not have freedom of movement? Doesn't bring back David Griffin. Trades Kyrie Irving despite LeBron not wanting him to. Objects and complains about where they are luxury tax-wise. So LeBron has no reason to give any faith to Dan Gilbert, and LeBron owes Dan Gilbert nothing. LeBron has helped make Dan Gilbert over $1 billion when he ends up selling this team. So the idea that LeBron should be concerned about, can we have a 40-yard view of this thing as opposed to a 5-yard view of this thing? Of course he shouldn't. The one time LeBron has removed the leverage, the owner didn't bring back the GM and traded away the second-best player, both against LeBron's wishes. So, of course, LeBron's right for signing one-year deals in Cleveland. I don't think he didn't do that in Miami, and I don't think he'll do that at his next spot.
Yeah, with LeBron delivering one championship to Cleveland, anything he decided to do is not wrong. He already gave him what he promised he was going to give him, a championship. So what, they got a little bit less flexibility on the cap. But the things that Nick said, they're true. All these things happen. And to me, I don't know what Dan Gilbert was thinking, but to me, when LeBron went back home, to me, it wasn't home forever. It was home for now. And it is right. LeBron should try to win championships. He should never try to push it, position himself where it's about the future. LeBron's legacy is based on how many championship trophies can he hold. And he did what was in the best interest of his career in coming back to Cleveland, something he didn't have to do. Now, I'm just going to tell you, there's a lot of organizations that would love to have the problems Cleveland had the last 4 years.
Of course. Every organization except the Warriors would trade places with Cleveland over these last few years. And we really should look at what happened in the one offseason LeBron wasn't on a one-year deal. It's not only that David Griffin isn't brought back. It's not only that they trade Kyrie Irving against LeBron's wishes, but the trade that they make is one that looks towards the future instead of to right now. They take a lesser player in Isaiah Thomas compared to other offers they had because the Celtics attached a draft pick to it. If you can win a championship this year with LeBron James, we're seeing that right now. LeBron James at the peak of his powers. We think they have a very small chance of winning it because of the team around him. But if instead of getting Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, and a draft pick, you had gotten a better return, you had gotten Paul George, They wouldn't. They ended up saying they didn't want to trade for Paul George because Paul George wouldn't commit long term. Again, they only do that because LeBron couldn't hold their feet to the fire. Listen, guys, I'll leave. I'll leave right here and now.
But do you understand the second fold of it, what you're saying, which is when he does sign these one-term deals and he is making all that money, then there is no formula for sustainability. Then the next year that he leaves, you're sort of left with whatever the Cavs are going to be left with when LeBron leaves next year, which isn't much. Or are you saying it shouldn't matter and it shouldn't be LeBron's?
I don't think it. Certainly, it's not LeBron's responsibility. But I don't think it should matter either.
And you're thinking teams would take that chance and have him for the
I
year.
also think that Danny... Go ahead, C.
It's LeBron's responsibility to take care of his own business. He don't own the Cavs. He owns LeBron James Inc. That's what he owns. And he delivered what any player wants to deliver to a franchise. And Nick mentioned it. Not only do you get the championship, but you get the cachet as far as LeBron James was with this organization, the overall evaluation of that organization. So there's no need to sit around and cry. To me, David Griffin, a little bit is about also trying to explain why he got fired.
Well, they didn't bring him back. Not why they... I mean, they just didn't renew his contract. But go ahead.
Call it what you want.
Sure.
All right, when you got a contract and they end up hiring someone else in your job, call it what you want to. He's not working for the Cavs no more.
Right, and I think to me, it's very I feel like I know why David Griffin's not working for the Cavs anymore. Dan Gilbert, I'm going to go back to him, has never once retained a GM past his first contract, ever. He's never re-signed a GM. But he brings up Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge's done a great job. But Danny Ainge also can't do what Danny Ainge did. And by that, I mean this. You look at the teams that are built for long-term success. What built Boston for that was one of the greatest heists in league history with the Brooklyn Nets, that no one thought Brooklyn was going to be as bad as they were, as quick as they were. You had a Russian oligarch come in and buy the team, demand they compete for championships immediately. They mortgaged a decade of their future for Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. That's not duplicable or sustainable. You say, well, what about what Philly did? Okay, any organization can do what Philly did. Go through 5 years of hell. Not even trying to win, go do what Philly did. There aren't teams in the league that are simultaneously competing for rings and having a 10-year view of it. That doesn't exist. So I don't think this is a fair representation of the landscape. I also don't think it's a fair representation of what LeBron's been over the 15 years of his career. He signed 3 one-year deals in those 15 years total.
All right, we're going to take a break. You know why? Because coming up next, look who's here. Well-dressed, dapper, athletic, and after I saw on your Instagram account last night, Yogi, which I did not know, CJ McCollum is here.
CJ, good to see you.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome back, man.
Good to see you guys.
Come get comfortable, sit down, stay a while, let's talk some hoops.
Is that matcha?
No, but this is bone broth.
Oh, no.
Beat Shazam is back with Jamie